Let's talk about Columbia, Tennessee. It's about 45 minutes south of Nashville, and while it's grown a lot over the years, it definitely still has that small town feel to it. A lot of people move here because they want more space, a slower pace of life, and of course, more affordable housing. The Duck River actually runs right through Columbia, which I think makes for some great scenery and outdoor options. If you visit Columbia, make sure you take a quick stroll in the park downtown. You can walk right along the Duck River and it is absolutely beautiful. Now, if you're someone who will be working in Franklin, you're probably looking at about a 35-minute drive to the Cool Springs area, depending on traffic, of course. If you're heading all the way into Nashville, I think you need to plan on about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, depending on traffic. I think Columbia is close enough to Nashville that you can head in to watch a game, a concert, or even meet some friends for a nice dinner and still get home to bed at a reasonable time. Right now, the population in Columbia is around 52,000 people, and it's definitely been growing steadily. A lot of people are moving here because areas such as Nashville, Brentwood, Franklin, and Spring Hill are just becoming too dang expensive. Columbia is a little bit further out, and therefore housing is just more affordable here. Okay, let's talk about food, because that is always a big one for most people, right? If you like Southern cooking, Southern Tray Steakhouse and Puckett's are solid choices here in Columbia. For pizza, Red 7 Pizza is a go-to, and if you're after a good sandwich, Gold's Deli and Bruno's both have really good reputations. Downtown, you've got Taps Off Main, which is a craft tap room in a historic building. It is a great place to grab a beer with a friend or your spouse. All right, now let's talk about things to do. If you're into history, Columbia's got a big one. The President James K. Polk Home and Museum. It's one of the only surviving residences of our 11th president, and it's right here in Columbia, Tennessee. If you're more of an outdoors person, you'll definitely love what's here in Columbia. Chickasaw Trace Park is a favorite with miles of mountain bike trails, a model airplane runway, a radio-controlled car track, and even some great fishing spots. Maury County Park is another option. They've got over 240 acres with sports fields, playgrounds, walking trails, and it's home to events like Mule Day and the Maury County Fair. For family fun, 10 Pin Alley is the place to go. Bowling, laser tag, bumper cars, and an arcade, go-karts, mini golf, you name it, it's all under one roof. Plus, they've got food and drinks on site, including alcohol, so you can make it a whole evening for the family. And then there's First Fridays. On the first Friday of every month, from April through December, downtown Columbia turns into a big street festival. Shops stay open late, there's live music, food trucks, vendors, and even a little cruise in for you gearheads. It's a fun way to experience a community and get a real feel for the downtown area. Oh, and here's one more I always recommend. If you're into cars or motorcycles or just scenic drives, head over to Santa Fe and hop on the Natchez Trace Parkway. Take it north into Nashville and stop at the Loveless Cafe for breakfast. It is a gorgeous drive, rolling hills, wooded stretches, and just like no traffic. Honestly, it's worth doing even if you're not into cars or bikes. It is such a beautiful drive, and I think everybody should see it at least once. Now, here's something a lot of people don't know. Mike Wolfe from the TV show American Pickers has been investing heavily in Columbia over the years. He owns Columbia Motor Alley, which is a part bike shop, part car garage, and then he also has a rental downtown called 2 Lanes. On top of that, He's bought and renovated several historic properties, including a former winery. Some people love the energy he's bringing in, and then others are a little cautious about all the changes. But there's no doubt he has definitely had a big impact on downtown Columbia. All right, let's shift over to housing. Over the past 6 months, the median home price here in Columbia has been around $425,000. That'll usually get you something around 2,100 square feet with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Property taxes on a home like that are around $2,200 a year, and that includes both city and county property taxes. Now, on the higher side, the average sales price is closer to $490,000, which tells you there are some larger and newer homes selling here in Columbia as well. Homes here don't sit that long either. 30 days on the market is about average, and sellers are usually getting around 99% of their asking price. So if you find something you really like, my advice is you need to be ready to move quickly, because chances are somebody else likes it just as much as you. And here's something you're going to notice in Columbia. You're going to find a lot of smaller brick ranch homes from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Some of them have been updated nicely, while most of them haven't been touched in decades. They're often on bigger lots, and they're great if you're looking for a place with character that you can put a little bit of work into. On the other end, you've also got newer neighborhoods like Carter's Station that have newer builds with modern finishes. In my experience, most people wish that they could have the newer home on those older and bigger lots, so it ends up becoming a tough decision which direction they should go. The cost of living here is a little bit below the national average, mainly because of housing, which is still more affordable, especially compared to a lot of other areas in Middle Tennessee. Rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home runs around $2,000 a month. Gas, currently it's sitting around $2.76 a gallon, according to Gas Buddy. Sales tax here is going to be 9.75%. And if you're moving from out of state, it'll only cost you $73 to transfer your title and get new Tennessee plates. Schools here are run by the Maury County School District. There are 3 public high schools, 4 middle schools, and several elementary schools serving the Columbia area. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, school ratings that you see online aren't the best here. But I've also talked to a lot of parents who have had great experiences with certain schools here in Columbia. So in my opinion, it's worth visiting and talking to other families and parents before you make your mind up. There's also private schools like Columbia Academy, Zion Christian, for example, and those are great options if you're thinking about heading in that direction. All right, now let's touch on safety. According to Neighborhood Scout, Columbia's crime rate is higher than the national average, with 28 crimes per 1,000 residents. Compared to the rest of Tennessee, Columbia's crime rate is higher than about 89% of cities in the state. But like anywhere, some neighborhoods are better than others, so you'll definitely want to look into specific areas if safety is a top concern. And as always, I highly recommend that you talk to other people in Columbia and get their take on it before you come to a conclusion. All right, so what are the pros and cons of living here in Columbia, Tennessee? On the plus side, Columbia has a ton of history, a charming downtown, and some great local restaurants. There are fun things to do here, and housing is more affordable compared to a lot of other areas in Middle Tennessee. You're also close to parks, trails, and the Duck River for outdoor activities. On the flip side, crime rates are higher than average, and schools don't always score well online on those schools' rating sites. And some areas or homes are definitely in need of updating. So, all right, guys, that's Columbia, Tennessee, a town with deep roots, some great character, and plenty to offer. If you're thinking about making a move here, I help families relocate to Middle Tennessee all the time. I'll drop a link to my calendar in the description. Feel free to pick a date and time that work for you to jump on a call with me to talk about your move here to Columbia, Tennessee. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.